All right, thanks for joining us. So the high school hoop season is in full swing here in the Valley. And over at Vail Christian, the girls basketball team, they got a new head coach that they're excited about. Fresh out of Baylor University, the Texan, Savannah Webster, is already making an impact on the Saints girls basketball team.
She's really on top of it and stays on our team, makes sure we're all on it and on time and punctual.
Webster teaches mathematics at Vail Christian, but her passion revolves around the rock. This is her first head coaching job, and she's taking a unique approach.
She just makes it feel like almost a family, like she's just like our sister, basically. It's not more of like, I'm better than you because I'm your coach kind of dynamic. It's more of just, we're all just great friends. And she makes it fun. She makes us work, but she makes it fun, and yet we're still a disciplined team.
To these girls, Coach Webster is already one of them. She explains fitting into their culture is her intention as the new leader of the Saints program.
I want them to love the sport, and I want them to have fun, and I want to be on their team. And so getting to be with them and let them know I'm not going to ever make them do something that I wouldn't do. I want them to love the sport. I want them to want to come back. I want them to be excited about practicing games. And so that's kind of a goal that I had going in. So
Webster believes winning games will come this season as the camaraderie on her team continues to grow. And staying with the Saints, the boys basketball team, on the other hand, also has a new head coach. But there's something else that's the talk of the team. Vail Christian boys basketball is eyeing a new season that brings a lot of change. However, senior point guard Will NEUMAN says the shift is working in the Saints' favor.
We lost our coach who's been here for 23 years. Majority of our seniors who scored all of our points. So I think people are going to underestimate us a lot and puts a fire under our belly.
NEUMAN's father, Andrew, is now at the helm of the Saints program after 2 years with the team as an assistant coach. But all the talk around the team revolves around the new freshman.
During our tryouts, we actually ranked everyone, like, say we ran a suicide and you got 9 seconds, or like 25 seconds, that's the first place time, you get 1 point. And the goal is to get the least amount of points throughout the whole tryouts. And out of the top 5 people, we had 3 freshmen. So we're really excited because we have a lot of really young players that are coming in really strong, and we're excited for it.
For NEUMAN and the Saints, there's a lot to look forward to this season, but the rivalry game with Vail Mountain School is on the minds of everyone.
All of those guys I grew up from 6th grade to now I've been playing against them, so just so excited to play against them, last year coming out.
Vail Christian boys basketball plays their first game of the season against Lake County December 1st. After chatting with Will NEUMAN, you already know we had to talk to his dad, the new head coach of the Saints boys basketball team. Here's our conversation with head coach Andrew NEUMAN. So we're with the new head coach of Vail Christian basketball, Andrew NEUMAN. And coach, you got a new season in front of you. What's kind of the expectation there?
Well, it's really hard to say right now. We're a very green, very young team, but we're super excited. A lot of great kids, a lot of work ethic going on, a lot of effort going in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, and I was telling you this earlier when we were chatting just a minute ago, but you guys may be a newer team, but it seems like the chemistry is already there. Do you feel like you guys already kind of have that camaraderie on the team?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of the seniors in particular are doing a great job leading us, so they're building that chemistry from the top down. And then the younger guys in each of those classes, there's a couple kids that are really leading their classes. So I'm really happy to see this early in the season, this kind of chemistry.
Okay, in what ways will those seniors come together? You mentioned you have 3, Jack Pryor, Will NEUMAN. How do you think those guys are going to kind of come together and lead this team this season?
Well, they're going to have to really put in a lot of effort on the court, probably getting a lot of minutes out there. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but it's more their leadership off the court that matters. They're doing a great job really leading these guys and building that chemistry, especially encouraging the younger guys. When you're new to high school basketball or it's your first time on varsity, there's a lot you got to learn. There's a huge learning curve, and those guys are doing a great job encouraging the younger players.
And you may be new to the head coaching role, taking over the helm of this Vail Christian program, but you're not new to the team by any standard. You've been here 2 years, got the torch passed over you from Coach Coons. What was that moment like to be kind of handed the role of this program that's been successful in his 23 years here, to be that guy that he wanted to take over the helm?
Yeah, that was a huge honor. Really grateful for everything that he's done for this school and for this program. I mean, like you said, 23 years, he's built a winning culture, a winning program, a great chemistry. We're going to be keeping a lot of the things that he did and just try to build on the great foundation he's already created.
Okay, and you mentioned, not a lot's going to change. That winning culture is hopefully going to stick around too with you at the helm. But what things may change under your leadership?
We're going to keep trying to maintain a pretty high tempo. This valley is a valley that has a lot of great athletes. We've got a lot of great athletes on this team, so can work really hard to keep pushing the tempo and really working to have a high character team that in everything we do, we're trying to reflect the values of this school.
Okay, and you mentioned you got a scrimmage with Battle Mountain coming up. Obviously, that's an exhibition game against, another Valley team, so you probably want to do pretty well in that matchup. But what kind of makes that a good game from y'all, how you show up against Battle Mountain?
Well, it's going to be interesting because we're only going to have about 6 practices with this green group of guys before we hit that scrimmage. So we're still learning each other's names, let alone all the offenses, defenses. So a lot of it's just going to be going out there and playing good basketball. It is fun, though, to be playing inter-valley teams. A lot of these guys play together in the off season, so they all know each other. And so what's really fun is those friendships, knowing the coaches, knowing the guys, the friendships off the court, and then you get on the court, all of a sudden, game's on. It's competition. And even though in a scrimmage, you're not supposed to keep score, I can promise you, every one of our guys, they're going to know the score in their own heads. So we'll have a good time.
And speaking about playing, inter-valley teams, you guys play Vail Mountain School twice a year. That's the big rivalry in this valley for y'all. What's it going to be like, you think, just getting on the court as the head coach of this team and playing them this year for your first time at the helm?
Yeah, this year we're going to be playing them at their gym. Their gym is always packed. It's a tight gym. It'll be a full house, I'm sure. And like you said, it's an in-valley competition, so this should be a really good time. It's going to be a tough game. They always play a tough game. They're a very well-coached team. They're very strategic in the way they play the game, so it's going to be a really tough game for sure.
How have you kind of grown to appreciate this rivalry between Vail Christian and Vail Mountain School in your 2 years prior to taking over this team?
Well, it's always one of the games we have circled on our calendar, and I'm sure they do as well. It's just a good time. I mean, off the court, you want to be able to say you won that game this year, So they'll have a great program. They always have a great program. Hopefully we'll be strong as well, and it should be a really tight game.
Okay, and you mentioned Plateau Valley this season as being a big contender. Obviously, you may have a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth after last season, but what are you looking to get out of that matchup this year with them?
Well, we're going to learn a lot where we stand. They're third game of the season, so we have the home opener, and then we've got them on the 5th of December. And as you mentioned, they beat us twice in a row last year, 2 out of 3 games in a row. So that'll be a really tough team. They've got most of their starting lineup returning from that state team that went to state last year, and it'll be a really good way for us to find out, where we stand compared to the rest of the conference, and where we stand even in terms of being a potential state contender.
Mm-hmm. And this may be the hardest question I ask you all day, but if you could just narrow it down, what do you think you're looking forward to the most in this new season?
Wow. I just honestly enjoy being on the court with these guys. I mean, it's an awesome group of guys. I've mentioned I grew up in a gym basically with my dad being a coach, and so the chance just to be in the gym with a great group of guys, obviously the competition, doing a little bit of mentoring along the way, and I hope we get a couple wins as well. That'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Anything you want to add?
No, just grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So with CU and Air Force both out of the AP Top 25, we're going to lay those football seasons to bed and pick up the college hoops season. CU for a while held a spot on this poll, but have since fallen out as they picked up a loss on the road in overtime to Florida State. It is early in the year, however, so this is the time when you want to get your losses out of the way before conference play begins and the grind really hits that stride. I do want to point out, though, that we have some representation from the Centennial State in the poll as Colorado State sits at the number 20 spot, so Rams looking pretty good there, and they're undefeated on the season and are firing on all cylinders, and that's what you like to see. Now, looking over at CU women's basketball, and they've had a good season thus far. They're coming off a loss to now number 5 in the country, NC State, but they also picked up a good win over Boston University most recently. They now sit at number 7 in the country, tied up at that spot with LSU, who they beat earlier in the year. And that was actually the first game of the season for both schools. The Buffs women's basketball team takes on Air Force next in Colorado Springs. We touched on Colorado and Colorado State basketball, but the two teams squared off Wednesday night. We got those highlights for you right now. Buffs win the tip-off, and we are underway in Fort Collins. Colorado State has won 6 straight and are undefeated on the year, while the Buffs entered with only 1 loss. Isaiah Stevens has a handle on the ball, loses it, recovers, and makes the shot for the Rams. CSU out to a 4-0 run. Nikkei Clifford now open on the perimeter. He'll let the three fly, and that drops in for the Rams as well. CU trying to inbound the ball. Josiah Strong picks the pocket and scores for the Rams to give Colorado State a 15-point lead at the half. CSU will come out strong in the second half with hopes of ending a 3-game skid to their rival Colorado. Buffs within 10 points in the second half. Stevens muscles his way to the basket, and with the left hand, puts it up for another 2. Clifford now with the rock, posting up, and he'll hit the turnaround jumper for the Rams to put his squad back up by 10. Rams now working together and moving the ball around the court. It finds its way to Stevens, who shoots the 3 and nails it. Now the Rams again with the ball in a similar situation to the last clip. They'll move it around and find Stevens again, who pulls up from mid-range and knocks it down for CSU. To ice this one, Stevens will get the steal, and the Rams will end things with an 88-83 victory over Colorado. And this snaps a 3-game losing streak to the Buffs in spectacular fashion. So a solid start for college hoops here in the Centennial State. We'll see if all those teams can keep up the pace. But make sure to continue coming back to us for all the latest sports coverage here in the Valley and beyond. We'll see you next time.